Hey, welcome back to Two Super Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Vinny.
And we're going to talk about a stock pick, a company that I am huge on for this year. I see unbelievably tremendous upside, especially with this stuff in Iran and Venezuela. I've already talked about it before. It's called SLB. We did a whole video after Venezuela on the stuff that's happening, but I'm not going to lie to you, I bought a lot more of it. I'm going to talk about why, because I'm into this company pretty heavy. For those of you that were saying, I bet Dylan will not move for a long time. Good call. I was wrong. Yeah, the evidence is fairly damning. So this is SLB. Let me get my mouse here. All right, this stock is going a little bit crazy. This is a Venezuela thing here. All right, so it jumped up pretty heavy. It hit about 53, came back down to this 45 region. I am so sorry I did not do a video on this 2 weeks ago. Okay. Unfortunately, the Qs hit the 200 moving average. I put that as precedent, but I did buy more of this. I'm going to show you everything, but I'm just going to talk about why I think this company is going to be pretty huge this year because the opportunities seem to keep on stacking up here. Do you have any of this one?
No, I don't have any of it at all, actually. It's something I've been meaning to look into, but I haven't had the time, to be honest.
Okay. Here's the weekly chart going back 10 years. So they capped out at about 90-ish up there. And then they had a little bit of a rough time, especially during COVID when there's zero drilling. Went up, came back down, and we're now in an environment where oil is precious. See our video yesterday.
Yeah, and refineries are falling apart.
Falling apart. So after the Venezuela thing, I did this video. I was kind of looking at Halliburton, a couple other stocks. I came to the conclusion that I think SLB is, in my opinion, the most well-positioned to benefit from everything that's happening. That's just my humble opinion. I'm sorry I did not do this video a couple weeks ago. I did buy that dip pretty hefty. I actually doubled my position.
Nice.
It's actually 10% on my portfolio right now.
All right, so you're muted. I hope you're right.
No, yeah, me too, bro. Me too. I mean, the rest of it's in Google, Meta, Bob, not doing well. So I'm calling this my stock savior, my portfolio savior. It's really lifting me up a little bit.
Love it.
All right. So very, very briefly, this is the PE ratio. There's too many factors that go into this. All I'm trying to show you right now is it's valued a little bit higher than traditionally, but that is not looking at the opportunities that are incoming. So SLB is a global company. Okay. So you can look at, this is in millions, but I'm sorry. No millions. North America, Latin America, Europe, Middle East, Asia. So you can see the Middle East and Asia is actually where they get the majority of their income. Latin America is their lowest. I'll talk about this 251. It's actually kind of cool. And then here's a list of a bunch of countries that they're in primarily, and then some smaller ones. Okay. So they're everywhere. Obviously it's an oil machinery company. So they work with Chevron or Shell to extract, drill wells, that kind of stuff. Right. So the reason why I thought this one was huge is when the whole Venezuela thing happened. Okay. There was a lot of companies in 2016 that pulled out of Venezuela because the government was just not paying them any money, right? It's like Halliburton dipped. There was a lot of them that left. Chevron and SLB are the only ones that stayed. And Chevron was not getting all the money they were supposed to. We did a whole video on it. Not important. All that matters is we are in an opportunity where Chevron is going to get massive contracts and they have to use a company to do it, and SLB is literally the only one. Okay? So Halliburton is now trying to get down there and being like, hey, we're going to get contracts with Shell. But they don't have anything there. There's no boots on the ground. There's no existing equipment. That takes a lot of time. Okay. So Venezuela's National Assembly in late January approved a bunch of new regulations, but the deal would give Chevron the right to produce from I'm going to pronounce that wrong, Ayahuasca 8 area, whatever, more oil. Okay. The project could turn Chevron into the biggest private producer in that area, which holds 3/4 of the country's total crude reserves. Okay. Venezuela has a shit ton of reserves. So you're in an area where Chevron has 75% of that. What does that hold? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Once again, they have to use a company to do this. So SLB, like I said, it's the only one that's there. They're starting to get all the regulations and permits ready to go. They have a long history in that country. They've been the longest service provider up until 2016, where they decreased a little bit. Everyone else left, though. So big deal. Okay, huge opportunity. Again, Latin America was their lowest segment. I think it's going to be their highest segment after this.
So you're calling for like 100% increase because it was like 6 billion. Now it's going to go to 12 billion to compete with the Middle East.
So yeah, so if you look at, well, it's not really fair right now because the Middle East is also going to go down. So
Yeah.
this is that is not really a fair comparison. I'm skewing these numbers a little bit. Speaking of Middle East, so we just did a video on the Qs and the Iran war. We have no idea how long this is going to take. The CEO came out and said he expects a 6 to 9 cent per share impact on his first quarter earnings because of this, because no one can transport through the strait. So that was kind of why that dip happened, in my opinion. I did buy that dip very heavy. Now, Iran has been bombing surrounding facilities a lot in surrounding countries. We've bombed oil refineries. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be rebuilt. Okay. I am actually not putting a lot of stock into this. There's a lot of companies that could benefit from this, but truthfully, we have no idea who's going to get it. It's not like Venezuela where there's only one choice. That one's obvious. This one, it's not just these companies listed of Halliburton, Baker Hughes, Weatherford, and SLB. There's like 40 other countries that just aren't publicly traded, right? The ones that built it in the first place, for instance, right? To me, I think that they'll benefit a little bit, not a lot, which is why I think Latin America is going to be a massive opportunity for them. One thing I just wanted to show here, I'm sorry for the small print. This was from their fourth quarter release. I just wanted to read this third paragraph here. So for the full year, lower upstream spending resulted in modest declines in revenue. Nevertheless, we discovered strong cash flow performance, generating $6.5 billion in cash flow, 4.1 billion free cash flow, enabling us to return $4 billion to shareholders. I'm really digging this digital data center solutions thing. So what that does, just so you know, before the Iran war, they were going to increase and ramp up in the Middle East. I don't know what that is now. I don't know what's going to happen there. But the digital data center solutions, essentially what they're doing is they're building like modular infrastructure for AI. So cooling systems, modular data center design, manufacturing, construction, all that kind of stuff. It's very, very small on their impact right now. I'm going to show you their percent increase. But yeah, so it grew 121% year over year. It was profitable. It's very small, but I think you got to put AI in your name at some point. I think they just have to do it. Just be like, hey, look, AI guys. It's less than 1% of our earnings, but doing it.
Yeah. We pipe in AI.
Yeah, they made a partnership with nvidia here. Pretty sure just so they could say they made a partnership with nvidia. Don't think it's going to come to anything, but not important. I will tell you the thing that I hate. I do not like this. It makes me very nervous. Here's their net income for 2025, and here's their dividends paid. I don't like that percentage of dividends paid. That is too high for me. I'm not a huge dividend guy. I would prefer share repurchases. Now, granted, this is not uncommon in this area, right? This is not a chip stock where they go from $5 to $100 and we don't know what happens. This is traditionally a slower moving company. So dividends, just like Chevron and Exxon and Halliburton, it's a lot more common. I personally am more in this for, I think, the upside on the stock, but the dividends are there. I don't like how much are being spent.
The nice thing about them looking at this briefly is it compared to the mega tech companies is rather than investing in their own infrastructure internally, these guys are paying out almost all the free cash flow in terms of dividends and stock repurchases. So it's all going back to shareholders still at this point.
It is, yeah. I would just rather, I think they're going to need a lot of money for a Venezuela ramp up and to take advantage of stuff in Iran. Again, we have no idea what's going to happen in Iran. This could be years and this could be pointless. We don't know. And frankly, not one American company could benefit from this. There's too many things up in the air. But I do think when you have oil prices going, $110 a barrel, whatever it is, all of a sudden, they directly benefit from that, and they have a massive opportunity in Venezuela. They're already signing contracts. I did not think that they were going to get this stuff signed and ready to go in Venezuela for like 8 months, and it looks like it's going to be next month, which is kind of wild. So I'm pretty big on this company as 9% of my portfolio. So
Nice. Yeah,
hope
man.
it goes well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting play. It's just something you'd have to kind of try to model out what you think they can reasonably achieve in terms of growth rate. But yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely a niche I would
Yeah.
like to be in.
I do apologize, everyone. I did not do this video 2 weeks ago. We hit the 200 moving average. It dropped to 46. I was like, I'm buying more, but then I didn't do the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did buy that dip. Hopefully, there's another dip though, because I would like to increase a little bit, not a lot more. I'd like an even 10 would be nice.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, just makes sense. All right,
I like
guys,
it.
let us know what you think.
Catch you next one.